It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
I got to blow the dust off this area. That's better. I forgot where this room in my house was. I totally forgot how to find it. I didn't know where it was. It disappeared. Then I realized it was just downstairs through the door that's behind me. Well, we're back after an extended hiatus from the podcast. If you are a Patreon member, you saw the video the other day sort of explaining what has gone on here inside the walls of this cesspool. Oh, man. If you had reached out to me a week ago, right now, I would have I would have hung up on you. He said, how's it going? Hung up. Last week was one of those, wow, to be a parent weeks. We're going to talk TV tonight on the podcast. It's been a long time and a lot has happened. We have to talk television. But first, where have I been? What happened? It happened. It happened in all of its glory. Weirdly and thankfully, it happened while my wife was home. Because my wife traveled. She was gone I think about half of February she was gone. And I guess for her it probably wasn't as great to be home. For me though, being able to have two of us in the house last week changed the game. Because on Wednesday night, my son Huck went to bed nice and easy, and I heard a blood-curdling scream at 11 o'clock. Blood-curdling. Wednesday night into Thursday. Blood-curdling scream. And I panicked. I thought he fell out of the bed. He shattered his arm in half. I jumped out of bed, sprinted in his room, and he was sitting straight up in his bed. And before you can see anything at all, before I could talk to him, it blinded me and almost knocked me out when I opened his bedroom door and that hot air, thick wall smell of vomit crushed me right in the face. And that one doesn't do it for me. Now, some people can do it. Some people are champions, and they're like, my kids puked, and I was fine cleaning it up. I didn't. I'm not that. And so I run in. Huck is sitting there. There's vomit all over. I go, buddy, and he looks right at me, and you can just see it in his eyes as he then head goes back and just another round everywhere. And that was the beginning of the end of our house for nearly a week, as the stomach bug ravaged our house. Hit everyone except for Woods, I think. I think Woods was the only person who avoided it. How that happened, I don't know. And maybe he had it early, and he's just the most Woods, my 1.5-year-old, who just is unfazed by everything. Maximum daredevil. Maximum doesn't realize he needs to have a little bit of fear. My wife, he'll be in a terrible situation, and I'll holler at him. And she's like, you scared him. And I'm thinking, I need him to be scared of standing on the half wall in between our kitchen and our living room with 5 knives in his hand. I need him to be scared right now because he has no fear. He has to find fear. So he's unfazed by everything. He might have had it first. I don't know. But it hit Huck. And then it hit Olivia in a way that just rocked her world. Huck was out maybe 24 to 48 hours. Olivia was out for 3 days, maybe 4. Thursday, because Thursday night it hit her. Thursday night, she began the puke-a-thon. And that went into Friday night, into Saturday night. And she was still feeling bad on Sunday. So that was a lot of days. We did a thing where we split. Huck got through it, and I didn't know if it would circulate back through. My in-laws were out of town. They needed us to help out watching their dog. So we had already planned on kind of being at their house a little bit. We just divided and conquered. I took the boys. We ran away to my in-laws' house. The girls stayed here. My wife single-handedly kept the bleach companies in business for the month of February and March. And I think she and Olivia are going to have 3 eyes now. I'm assuming that's how that works. But when the boys and I came back, it's all bleach. It was all bleach up in here. But we divided and conquered. But Saturday it hit me. And so I was dead Saturday with the boys, trying to stay away, trying to keep away from Woods. Huck and I are just kind of miserable. He's still kind of coming off of it. And it hit me so hard on Saturday. So that rocked my world. I was feeling better on Sunday, all the way better on Monday. But we have been in fight for your life survival mode here in the Widmer house. And we're through it. We pulled through. I would say yesterday, I'm recording this on Thursday. Maybe Tuesday was the day where we knew everyone was better. But I think Tuesday, everyone kind of proceeded as normal, where no one was worried about it. Because it hit my daughter bad enough that she's in like PTSD mode every time she goes to sleep. She's like, am I going to wake up in my vomit? And I'm like, no, you're feeling better. She's like, I know, but I thought I was feeling better when I went to bed that one night. It was nasty. It was terrible. We pulled through. I'm thankful to be here on the other side, but the stomach bug sucks. It absolutely sucks. Also, why does the stomach ache only show up in children after 11 o'clock? Has any child in the world ever got the stomach bug at 2 p.m? I don't think so. I think it only shows up at tooth fairy hours. The tooth fairy and the stomach bug, same schedule. Santa Claus. Tooth fairy, stomach bug, Santa Claus, same schedule. They're showing up in the middle of the night. And you got a 2 out of 3 chance of it being something good that shows up to your house. And then that 33% chance shows up and rocks your world and makes you hate overnight visitors. Never shows up in the day and lets you be prepared. Okay, I want to talk about 3 shows real quick. If you haven't watched Traitors, and I might have talked to you, I don't even know how far behind I am on stuff. Traitors ruled this season of Traitors. Traitors season 4 was awesome. I think I did talk about it. You need to watch it. We're going to go back and watch other seasons now, but Traitors was fantastic. And the way it ended was awesome. And I will say this about that game. I am of the mindset on all of these reality shows that you play the game. And it was the Russell Hantz thing in Survivor, where he was the villain and he crossed the line, and he was throwing people's shoes and burying people's shoes, burying the machete. He was causing chaos, and he might have crossed the line a bit, but he made it to the finals, and no one voted for him because they were all mad at him. And I get that there's part of the game that's in Survivor anyways, that's jury management, but I love people who play a game the whole way and don't let as much of the social part affect them. Which I'm not going to spoil Traitors, but to get to the end, I'm not going to spoil how it all ended. But to get to the end, to get to the last couple episodes, the people who got there, who were near the end, all the contestants, you get there by gaming, like by playing the game. And there was a person in particular who played the game. And of course, feelings were hurt and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, why are you on the show Traitors if you're then going to allow yourself to have your feelings hurt? It's an awesome season. I recommend it. The other thing that's happening is Survivor is here. I think Kelly, from Kelly's What Are You Into? I think she messaged me today. I need to look at that. Let's do this. Kelly's What Are You Into? A comment from Kelly. That is always a winner for me. Where did it go? There it is. Have you watched Paradise yet? I'm missing the pods. I'm missing the pod. Hope all is well. And please give us your input on Survivor this season. Okay, I have not watched this show, Paradise. I need to look. Is that the one that's like Lost? Let me see here. Paradise. It has got the guy from This Is Us, Sterling K. Brown. It's got James Marsden from Jury Duty and plenty of other stuff. Sonic. I've not seen Paradise. Is it Hulu? I don't have Hulu. Doggone it. There's a lot of shows. The shows I want to watch are on Hulu and Apple TV. And I don't have either right now, which is interesting for my next piece of commentary. but I don't have either. So every single good show I've not seen, but I have seen Survivor. So not every good show. I've seen Survivor. And the first 2 episodes of Survivor, this is going to be a great season. Season 50 is going to be awesome. I have one problem with it. And I'm going to tell you what not to do right now. Because I don't want you to fall into this. I thought, you know what would be fun? Let's go to Polymarket. I don't know a lot about Polymarket. I just know you can gamble on everything. And I was like, I'm going to go to Polymarket and gamble on one of the survivors that I'm cheering for. Be that Dee or Rizzo or Colby or Ozzy. One of these people that I'm cheering for, Genevieve, I'm going to bet on them to win Survivor. That'll be fun. And I went there assuming that all the odds for all the characters would be pretty close, with a couple, like Sari and Ozzy and people who have done it before and gone far in the game. Savannah, who's gone far in the game. Dee, who's gone far, won the game. Savannah and Dee, both winners. Rizzo, who's gone far. I assume people who have gone far maybe a little bit more. And I looked, and there was a person who had a 97% chance to win and was the odds-on favorite. And I thought, well, that's not right. And then I looked down, scrolled down, and there was comments on Polymarket, and it was like, oh, thanks for the spoilers. Glad you read the spoilers. And I realized that there has been leaked info on who wins this season. And if you go to Polymarket, you're going to see. And I saw. And it broke my heart. I will watch, and I'm hoping that that's wrong. It's probably not. But I'm just like, I don't want to know. Even if that person is someone that I'm cheering for, I was like, I don't want to know who won. First 2 episodes are great, though. And I don't want to spoil them. I think next week we're going to maybe be like a couple episodes behind talking about it on the podcast, or it'll be the final thing and we'll just get right into what happened. And you can skip it if you want to. But Survivor is so good. It is so great. And it's funny, having watched Traitors has a bunch of games inside of their show, and they suck once you watch Survivor. You go, oh yeah, Survivor, your games are reward challenges, your challenges for immunity, they're so good. The top notch. Survivor's great. I'm glad it's back. Get on board. Abby and Ian, get on board and watch. They watched Traitors. We were going to watch the finale together. Didn't work out. And that bummed me out. So maybe watch Survivor. We can watch the Survivor finale together. Okay. The other thing I think I need to say, man, I've thought about this. Well, I've thought about it a lot because I've had a lot of time not podcasting, throwing up and having diarrhea. Can I call a spade a spade? That's what it was. That's what it was. For those of you who don't know how the stomach bug works, throw up and diarrhea. That was the life here. I didn't have throw up though, so there you go. Paint that pretty picture for yourself. Otherwise, I lived on the toilet Saturday. Just lived there. It was my throne. It was also my bed. Okay. I think I'm good with this. If I'm doing a short list for you here on TV shows, Arrested Development is near and dear to my heart. It for a very long time was my favorite TV show, and I think it's one of the best written shows ever. Lost is going to forever in my life be a show that probably means the most to me of any TV show ever, for everything that it was symbolized in my life during that time. Wonderful time of life, early 20s. For a lot of people, they're like, that show came out when I was 2. I don't care. You missed out on being in your 20s in the 2000s. It was a show that we got together with a group of people. My cousins, we'd go to the Fergusons, and Aunt Melinda would make dinner. We'd all have dinner. We'd watch Lost. It was every Wednesday night. It was so fun for 6 seasons. That's a lot of years of watching a TV show and having a plan every week to get together with some of your best friends and watch the show. It was awesome. Season finales, we'd make clothes. It was a big deal. It was awesome. Lost is awesome. And I also just loved the show. So Lost is going to be up there, right? It's a show that means a lot. 24, same thing. For me, that was another get together with people and watch it. Yeah, I love 24. Did I mention Always Sunny in Philadelphia? I think Always Sunny in Philadelphia, after having gone through a lot of what's the funniest show ever and really leaning into Arrested Development, I think Arrested Development is number 2. I think Always Sunny in Philadelphia is the funniest show of all time because it's done it for 17 years, and they just hit on some crazy jokes that work for me. I can see those two flip-flopping a lot in my head, though. Arrested Development, Always Sunny. There's a lot of other shows I like. Scrubs is back on TV. Those first 7 seasons of Scrubs, I loved. How I Met Your Mother, I loved. The Office, I loved. Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso for a minute was probably the best show. My favorite show for a while. I think I'm willing to say that even though I think Always Sunny is the funniest, I think Lost is always going to have this spot in my heart where I'm going to fight for it. I think Breaking Bad is amazing TV. Game of Thrones up to the end is so good. The Wire is great. For how this is not a blanket statement of this is what you should think. For how my brain works, and if you want to know how I am as a person, the show Shrinking, for me, it's probably the best show. It works on every level of how my brain works and what my brain wants. It has funny. It has very serious and dramatic. It has a lot of real life things that are being wrestled with. If you know me, you know I'm very emotional. I also like to laugh. And Shrinking is all of those things. And a lot of it feels very real. So I think it's a brilliant show. I would recommend it to anyone who's okay with the F word because that's a lot of that. I will say that. It's not safe. It's NSFW if you've got kids or you're not looking for that. But it's funny. It's got some real stuff. Every single episode, I think I cry during. And it's either a cry because I'm so happy about something or so sad about something, which is a wild roller coaster. But after I was going to start watching, my mother-in-law has Apple TV, and I was like, oh, season 3 of Shrinking came out. I haven't watched it yet. Let me watch it. Well, it's not done yet, and I kind of want to wait until the whole season's done and binge watch it because I like watching Shrinking that way. It's really hard for me to end an episode if I still am awake and not watch another one. So I was like, I'm going to rewatch season 2. I'm sitting here having diarrhea. I might as well watch season 2. And I rewatched it all and sobbed. Even though I'd seen it. Sobbed. Laughed, sobbed, laughed. And a part of it, I watched it with headphones on because I was dying and I also needed my boys for a little bit to watch TV so that we could stop playing Candyland, me stretching out to the board from the toilet. And so they were watching Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and I had my headphones on, and I would laugh or cry. And Huck finally just came over and sat next to me and snuggled in and goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, this show is rocking my world, bro." And he's like, "Spidey?" I said, "No, man, you haven't cried once at Spidey, even though I feel like Spin got worked over in that episode by Rhino. You should be a little more sad." So Shrinking, I think that's where I stand as we readjust some power rankings. I think for me, for how I work, it's the best TV show. I have every right to change that at any moment, but right now, Shrinking in my brain passes the Ted Lassos, the Always Sunnies, Arrested Developments of the world. It's the best TV show. I am going to save the comments for next week because I want to if I looked at comments now, there might be comments that are 2-3 weeks old, and I would not know what they were referring to because my brain doesn't work like that anymore. I've got a lot of stuff I need to talk about in a couple weeks. Let's see. We do have a comment on Sean'sLife.com. Okay. I love the comments on Sean'sLife.com because it took me a long time to figure out how to make these work. And it comes from Kelly M. And he says, "Busy moving. I will keep you up to date." All right, there it is. There's your comment for this episode. Thank you for checking in. Thanks for listening. To those of you who are still hanging on, even though we've been gone for a long time. For those of you who still listen to the podcast, that means the world to me. Thank you so much. See you next time.